Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we're going to cover what is the science behind many hoo-hoo techniques and also actually to see if they work. So what is your first instinct when you hurt yourself? Exactly, we are going to see what hands-on healing really means. What are those healing practices done by hands and why people affirm that placing your hands on somewhere or on somebody has healing results. First of all, I want to ask you, what is your first instinct when you hurt yourself? Isn't it to place your hands on that exact hurting spot? When you have pain somewhere in your body, you instinctively place your hands there. Have you ever felt heat, tingling, or pulsing through your hands, either giving or receiving the touch? For example, like when you hold your lover's hands. If you ever place your hands on someone's body, maybe to soothe them, maybe to pray, to comfort, to do Reiki, maybe just instinctively, you felt something. It might be warmth, pulsing, tingling, magnetism. I'm sure you did experience it, so because you don't have to be spiritual to experience it. You don't have to believe anything. This is naturally instinctive to the human, and the human body is not just a collection of chemicals, but also a living electrical system. A real electromagnetic system, constantly generating signals, constantly communicating through the field, through heat, pressure, and also subtle sensory information. So today, I want to give you a grounded human and scientific explanation of what could be happening when people talk about energy transmission through the hands. And not in a way that turns this into fantasy, but to uncover what is really happening, what is going on. And there are two things to understand the mechanism behind it, so you stop treating energy work like a mysterious gift that only a fewer people have, and you start treating it like a skill of your own. We need regulation, we need intention, breath, attention, and coherence. So I want to go layer by layer, and I want to go layer by layer, so you literally understand what that means. First of all, you are bioelectric. This is the first principle we need to address, is that humans are bioelectric beings. Every single second of your life, your cells are maintaining electrical charges differences across membranes. That's physiology and biology. Your nervous system communicates constantly through electrical impulses created by the movement of ions, like sodium, potassium, calcium, chloride, to name a few, across in and out membranes. Your heart runs on electrical rhythms. Your brain runs on electrical rhythms. Your muscle on electrical signals. You don't have to believe that, because we can actually measure it, and we do it via EEG, which are scanners to measure the collective electrical activity of the brain, and ECG, that measures electrical activity of the heart. So when someone says, I feel electric, I feel electricity in my hands, they're not going crazy. That they may be feeling real bioelectrical shifts, especially when the nervous system is activated, when the blood flow changes, when the attention becomes more focused, more narrow, when the body enters a coherent state. And the question now is, if we are bioelectric, how does that translate into hands-on healing? And I want you to hold on that though, because another thing that we need to address is what your hands really are. Your ends are one of the densest sensory instruments in your entire nervous system. They have enormous amounts of receptors, like pressure receptors, temperature receptor, vibration receptor, pain reception, proprioception receptor that tells the brain where you actually are in the space. Your palms and the fingertips are basically an extension of your brain. So when you put your hands on someone, two big systems activate simultaneously immediately. The sensory system, which is touch, pressure, and temperature, that is telling the brain that you're safe or if you're under threat. And the autonomic nervous system, which is your vagus nerve responding for regulation. Human touch, when it's safe, is the fastest way to shift someone out or fight or flight mode. And this matters because if the body doesn't feel safe enough, it doesn't release. You cannot release toxin, trauma, tension, emotion. So even before we talk about the energy and the energy field, we have a massive foundation. Hands-on work can change the state of the nervous system entirely. And that state is the door to healing. The third concept that I want to introduce explains a lot of what people call energy transmission. This is the old co-regulation friend. Co-regulation is when one nervous system helps another nervous system to stabilize. It happens anytime between a calm mother and a crying baby, between a grounded partner and an anxious partner, between a regulated practitioner and a client who it might be frozen or overwhelmed. This is not just emotional, it is physiological, because when someone is near a calm, coherent human being, their breathing can entrain, their heart rhythm, they shift completely. Their muscle tone is softening, the threat response is reduced. And I'm sure you have felt this every time you're being maybe with your partner. When you're with your partner, you have the most profound experience when your breath entangles. When your breath is on the same rhythm, you feel like you're becoming one altogether. And now you can imagine this with touch, because when you place your hands on someone with a clear intention, with a rhythmic breath, a grounded presence, your entire body becomes a signaling system. Your hands becoming the contact point, but the real transmitter is your state. And that's why the best healers are not people forceful. They look very quiet, they look very calm, and they look like they're holding space. They're not pushing you to an outcome. They have and they emit a very nurturing and familiar energy. And your nervous system directly responds to their calmness. It responds to the safety they are creating, because safety itself is a frequency. And your nervous system attunes to safetyness, to let go. And now let's go into something that sounds a bit wild, but actually has a lot of research, a lot body of research behind it. Ultra-weak photon emission, something that is called biophoton emission, claims that humans glow, not like neon signs, but the claim is that living organism can emit extremely weak light called photons associated with the metabolic process, the oxidative stress, the cellular activity, the brain activity, to name a few. And these studies have measured ultra-weak photons emission from the human body using very sensitive equipment in controlled environments. When they were eating, for example, they could measure the light from the body during the digestion of a dead food like fast food foods or heavily processed cooked food compared to raw living foods, or to an healthy person, and between healthy thoughts, positive thoughts, and toxic, oxidative, depressed thoughts. So what that means? What does this prove? If every cell in our body emits measurable signals during our metabolic change, and if stress correlates with oxidative process in the body, and if a person's state can change their physiology, then it also becomes reasonable to explore how state of calm and coherence could correlate with different biological emission, different electromagnetic patterns, and different healing outcomes. Even if we don't fully understand it yet, it's very clear that the body is not just chemistry. It is a signal receiver and an output as well at the same time. So it becomes reasonable to understand that we can alterate our energy states even with our thoughts, and the energy produced by our thoughts is going to pass through our entire body, and we become the bridge to translate the energy towards somebody else. Even if it's a very low vibration, but the intensity, the intention behind that, the outcome that we give to our action, it can be felt. In fact, intention, it's a biological instruction. And this is where most people get lost. They hear intention affects healing and they think it's a cosmic wish, but it's not. Intention practically means that when you hold an intention, the thoughts, the belief of that, your nervous system organizes around it, and your reality will directly reorganize around that. And even your own immune system and your endocrine system can organize around it. Whether you have a positive or a negative thought, the focus of the intention has the ability to foster your reality, because this is how your brain actually transforms the energy, the thought, the constant pulsation of the energy. Thanks to more than 14 billion nerve cells, the brain can also be influenced by outside energies that can modulate some of this intercellular activity. And this is why the person receiving the touch feels all of it. It's biologically. So when a practitioner places hands with compassion and clarity on somebody else, what is actually being transmitted? Heat from blood and vasodilatation, pressure, which affects the tissue response, rhythm as well through micro movement and breathing, safety cues through the nervous system, and also attention, which affects perception and interoception. and likely electromagnetic and electrostatic components that you can't fake it. You can repeat the words, you can copy the gesture and the techniques, but if your state is anxious, performative, scattered, the body of the receiver will feel that. Because the body reads truth faster than the mind does, because communication happens on the energy level first. So, are you channeling energy or generating it? And this is my most honest view. The most powerful healers that I have met, they don't claim that they are the source of the energy. They don't say, come to me because I will heal you. They say something more precise, like, I can create the conditions where your nervous system can heal, the container. And this is the main distinction, because it's many cases what you call healing is just the body returning to regulation. The inflammation in your body decreases, your sleep will improve, the mind quiets, emotional processing becomes possible again. And the system, the nervous system, releases what is holding, whether it's fear, anger, and so on. So you may call it chia, prana, biofield, nervous system coherence, but the core function is the same: restoring a coherent internal environment. And hands-on work and hands-on healing are one of the most direct tools we have to do that. And for this reason, our ancestors use it until today. So how would you train your hands-on healer ability? I mean, this is very funny, but I want to give you something practical. First of all, you don't have to think about that you need to receive anything, that somebody needs to activate your hands or needs to do a ritual on you in order for you to be able to do so. Remember that you are a battery, an energetic battery. We have explained that you are electric. But if you want to feel it for yourself, if you want to feel that your hands can transmit more than just warmth, if you want to feel, then you can actually shift your energy. You can first look at the regulation of your nervous system, because if your body is in fight or flight, you're not transmitting anything. Like, you're not transmitting healing. To the contrary, you are making somebody else feeling more anxious. And somebody, they don't even need to touch you. You will just feel weird, anxious around their presence. You will be just transmitting noise. So learn to breathe. Big breath through your nose. Maybe you can start to warm your hands. And the more you warm your hands, the more you might feel that there is like an electromagnetic, like a magnet that will draw your hands together. And then you can place your hands, one on your belly and the other one on your chest, while you exhale slowly through your mouth to ground yourself. So you let your nervous system soft first, and you learn through slow breath to stable attention and minimal movement to be coherent, a calm, safe, coherent space. Because a calm rhythm tells the body that you're finally ready to let go. And also, remember that you don't need to force any outcome. The expectation is going to kill your intention. The best intention, driven by The best intention driven by a non-coherent thought is going to be felt like pressure. To the contrary, soft intent is direction. So don't push the healing, even for yourself. Hold the space for release first. And you will notice something. You will notice that your hands will start to feel different, warmer, more alive, more magnetic, more sensitive as well. And not because you have became magical at once, but because you became present and coherent with your own energy. You're feeling your energy in your hands. You're feeling your electricity. So to me, that's the complete frame. The human body is electrical. The touch changes the nervous system, and the nervous system states determines what the body can release. A coherent intention organizes the biology in a measurable way. And if you want, in the next video, I can go deeper onto why palms and fingertips are so reactive and what pulsing sensation may indicate and how to do a simple hands-on protocol safely without overwhelming the system, without overcharging and stimulating yourself. So let me know in the comments below. And if you're already inside my community, you should already know that this connects to what we do in my course: regulation, drainage, detox, integration, and transmissions. Because real spiritual power is not an invented woo-woo new age thing. It's not a fantasy, but we hold it already. We are it. We already have the power within. And this is another reason why we always hear repeating the same affirmation over and over again. So what does it mean? That we are electrical. Just because you are alive, you are perfect. You are enough. You are the healer. You are the God, Son of the God incarnated in this human body. So you have all the faculties to become a healer, or to be what we today call healers. And this is why you can heal yourself just by recalibrating your own energy. And if that landed, give me a like, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.